Welcome back to One Alaska, our home. We're going to meet Marjorie Thabo now, who hails from Nome.
I love so much about Nome. First of all, we have this beautiful landscape, and you'll see it in the willows and the mountains and our rivers and our beautiful ocean. We're so fortunate with what we have in the wildlife, and I just embrace that because I'm an outdoorsy girl. And that's another thing too why I love Nome, is that I'm able to drive out to our fish camp and stay out there and live off the land as I choose, how I'm happy. And another one too is that I just have so much support here. So many supporters, people who believe in me to do things, and just that family life, family community. I feel that in Nome. Well, some of the challenges, it's hard to talk about the challenges too much, because I always think about it's worse somewhere else. Somebody has it a little bit harder. So I usually don't like to complain about anything or make things seem harder than they actually are. But if I had to make challenges out of Nome, one of them, of course, is that the high cost of living. My coworker, she has a family of 4. She has 4 children and a husband, and she said she spends $2,500 a month on food. And I was just appalled. I'm like, oh my gosh, because I go through a measly $500, $600 a month with food, and holy cow, and I just couldn't believe it. Oh man, the Iditarod. I used to go every year. Only because we're so close to it, and everyone's there. A lot of new people come in, a lot of family members come in, so it's a time of celebration. And it's the springtime, and usually that's around the time when they have spring break. So yeah, I usually attend Iditarod all the time, every year. Since I've been back from college, though, I haven't been so involved, and I don't enjoy being in that type of setting where there's just this stigma when you're down on Front Street, being there near the bars and just being in that area. It's not really my place. The land is kind of my area to be in. So I really want to stress that even though we have certain things that happen in our lives, in our past, in our history, these hurtful things that may have happened, they happen for, and I don't want to sound cliche, but really they happen for a reason, and they happen for people like me who take those hurts and those angers and try and bring it into something that's more positive. Bring that negative energy and push it into a positive direction. In my heart, I'm a Nipah. That's why I decided to get my traditional tattoos done. It's in my soul, it's in my heart. I feel it, and I'm always going to be a part of it. And nowhere else am I going to say that I'm from, because heck, I tattooed my face, for crying out loud. It's just one of those things that I really, really, really never doubted. That yes, I'm from Nome. Yes, I'm from Alaska. I'm Alaskan, and I'll always be that.
And Marjorie, you said you tattooed your face. Tell us about the chin tattoo.
A long time ago, before missionaries came in, we had a traditional culture of tattooing young women's faces. And a long time ago, that young women became eligible to get a tattoo when they had their first menstruation cycle, or they became of a marriageable age. And so once that happened, they had the initial tattoo done, just to signify that they're ready to be a part of the community, to contribute, to be a good wife, to be a good mother, and provide more children for the community to grow. So nowadays, it's kind of inappropriate to have a husband at age 13. So I kind of translated that mindset, that idea of being a part of the community, into modern settings. So I decided to get my traditional tattoo after I graduated college. I got my degree. I'm able to contribute to my community. If I needed to, I could provide for a family, and I could become a wife. And so that's kind of why I decided to get it. And, you know, I'm Inupiaq. That's how I grew up. That was how I was raised. And I have Native American blood in me as well, but my heart is Inupiaq. And so I decided to follow tradition as my great-grandmother has before and get a traditional chin tattoo. And it's a revitalization that's happening now. I mean, I know a dozen people that are getting traditional tattoos. Even my coworker just 2 days ago got one. And it's just amazing to see the strength that's coming out. Our identity is starting to show through, and it's really a positive thing that's happening.
Great. Marjorie, thanks very much. We're going to meet another one of our panelists right now. Susan Smalley is from Kenai.
We were going to school in the Valley in Oregon, and we had an opportunity to student teach in Yupik Village on the Kuskokwim, and it was a great opportunity, and that's what brought us here. It was a 3-month gig, and we're here 43 years later. We had spent a day in the Kenai, and if you've traveled in the Kenai at all, you know that it's an alluring place. So we packed it all up, and we came here, and we assumed that there would be some kind of job, and that's what brought us here, just the beauty of it. Well, I think this is the largest place I've ever lived. I mean, the city of Kenai is the largest city I've ever lived in. So to me, it seems like we've got everything we could possibly need. I think we are removed more from people who live off the road system. And I feel especially grateful that we spent time in villages, because that's a perspective that a lot of people in the state don't have. In Anchorage, we consider it that's like our New York. I mean, at least that's from my perspective. And I do feel that the Kenai, and of course the Kenai has a lot of resources, so people like us and they pay attention to us in ways that, and we also have fish, so sometimes people pay attention to us for those kind of characteristics, and that makes it a little bit of a challenge, because those resources, some are not renewable, and others, like the dip net fishery, it makes the peninsula kind of sinks a little lower during July. You know, the beaches I love the beaches here. I appreciate eating fish, but I'm not willing to go out and duke it out with people over fish, and so it's kind of lost. Fishing has lost its appeal to me. I think, in part, as I referenced, because we have resources, that people might pay more attention to us than they might pay to some other entity in the state that's kind of the same size. And as oil and gas has become like this huge economic factor, that we have to be cultivated, and sometimes that's for good, and sometimes I'm not sure it is so good. And so I think that's one of the biggest challenges, is how to live together as Alaskans and yet protect what it is that we love about Alaska. We're getting older on the peninsula, you know, and I'm guilty of that myself, which is not such a bad thing, but we kind of forget. You hear people going to meetings and saying, oh, my kids aren't in school, education's not important to me. And even if you just look at those little kindergartners as potential economic units, you know, and you don't take into the fact that they're awesome human beings, we need them to be well educated. I have a unique perspective in that I'm a full-time volunteer now, and so I get to pick and choose what I volunteer at. I just try to do what can make a difference, but also what feels like it's the right thing for me to do. So first time in my life I've really had that much opportunity to do that.
And Susan Smalley is here, and in the summertime, the Kenai Peninsula has a lot of pressure on it. A lot of it comes from the Anchorage area, where we want to go down and recreate. You'd said something about how the peninsula sinks a little lower after during the dip net season. Explain that a little bit more in detail for us, if you could.
Well, we are in a unique position, because the dip net fishery is ours, but we really don't have any control over it. So we have all the things that you would have with, you know, it's a very small area, I don't know, a couple acres with thousands of people there, and tens of thousands of fish that all have innards that end up spread, and the seagulls circling around doing what seagulls do. And so it's a health issue that the city's been left with, and so it's a real challenge, because the dip net fishery is important to a lot of people, and just for food value, but it's also it's a huge mess, and the city has done much better, but it's a challenge as we face this every year.
And that problem extends all up and down the Kenai River, doesn't it? You've got bear issues because of the fish carcasses that are left around. You've got human waste back in the woods and things like that. People need to be a little more respectful.
Well, yes, and realize that when we were first calling people to come and get the giant king salmon, you know, the 99-pound king salmon or whatever, that was a different day, and that we don't have those fish anymore. And yet the Kenai has so much more to offer in camping, in using the beaches in different ways, that I just think we need to start attracting people who aren't going to necessarily send out fish boxes. Because there's a time of year when if you're not traveling with a fish box at the airport, you kind of go on the watch list because everybody's leaving with fish boxes.
Yeah. That set off some chuckles around the panel there. Do you agree with what Susan's saying here? Mike, you're out of Valdez, another big fishing hotspot. Do you agree with what Susan was saying there?
Absolutely. If you don't have a fish box at the airport, you're going to be profiled as a possible terrorist. So.
Yeah.
We get a lot of pressure during the fishing season down in Valdez, a lot of influx of people, and you just you have to be ready to deal with it. We've dealt with it with fish cleaning stations, multiple of them in our harbor now. We had a terrible problem in our boat harbor. It was actually percolating from the amount of fish waste that went into it, and we've solved that problem by building pins that the fish waste goes into now, and every day the harbor takes that waste out into the bay and dumps it in deep water. So it is great to bring the panel together like this so that you can find, talk to other members and try to figure out how they're solving the issues in their community. I can really relate to the issue in Nome with the high cost of food. We have the same problem in Valdez, except it's with energy. When the pipeline runs right through Valdez, we've got the oil, we have a refinery there that makes diesel fuel. Yet we have some of the highest diesel fuel costs in Alaska. So it's really it really makes people in Valdez struggle when it comes time to pay the electric bill and the fuel bill, and then there's not enough left for the food, and yeah, it's a tough situation at times.
Yeah, that's a big topic. I want to get into that topic, the high cost of living in Alaska, especially when it comes to energy. First of all, we want to meet Mike and get to know him a little bit more as he tells us a little bit more about himself and about Valdez.
Love Valdez for the beauty. On a clear, sunny day, there's no place prettier. If it was, if every summer was like this summer, Valdez would be like California. Everybody would live here. I'm glad for the winters because it does keep a lot of people away, and we still keep that small town charm that we have. I think the stereotypical thing that I hear about Valdez is more that people want to know if this town was built by the oil company. I get that question at the hotel, and when the '64 earthquake really lowered the town of Valdez and the Corps of Engineers moved it over here, they moved it over here, but it lost its charm during 1964. The impact with the pipeline workers is the week on, week off, or really the 2-and-2 schedule. When somebody works a 2-and-2 schedule, they only come down here and sleep and work here. Then they go back to their own communities. It causes problems with housing. It causes also problems with the dynamics of the community. When they go back to their communities, that's where they volunteer for United Way and all of the other charitable organizations, the snow machine clubs, the cross-country ski clubs. They're doing things in their hometown, but they're working here. So that creates kind of a void of people to take part in issues in the community because the people that are working here are not living here. So that really is kind of a strange dynamic for Valdez. Really the biggest challenge for both businesses and residents in Valdez is the cost of energy. Energy for communities outside the rail belt is a huge problem for, I'm sure, not only Valdez but other coastal communities. But I think there is a real heartfelt emotion to Valdez, and people really, when they come here, they like it and they stay. Many people come here for a summer to work in the fish processing plant, and now they live here. So I think Valdez grows on you, the scenery grows on you, and the friendship of the people really grow on you here.
Beautiful part of the country, our state of Alaska, Valdez, of course. And Mike, again, you got the pipeline coming right into town there, and yet we have an energy problem in Valdez. Explain that a little bit more. You brought it up a few minutes ago.
Well, if I could explain that and solve that, then well, I'd